Hey everybody, Adam Savage. I am at Prop Store in Los Angeles with a living legend, Tom Sullivan. How are you, sir?
I'm excellent, Adam.
So Tom was illustrator, animator, constructor. You're part of the visual iconography of Evil Dead movies, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. Let's talk. What do we have in front of us here?
Well, the closest thing is my shooting script for Evil Dead. Now, being an illustrator, I have to draw on everything. So this was drawn, the cover and the back cover were drawn before I even met, they had cast the actors.
Really?
And so I just assumed what they looked like and didn't even get close.
Oh my God, can you turn some of these pages
Yes,
for
or
me
before
while
I created the Book of the Dead either. And there are several notes throughout it.
The special effects question
Yes.
mark.
Now, Sam gave me the script like 2 weeks before we started, which for an effects guy, it's just like, kill me now. But
When you were supposed to do blood effects and all sorts of
all sorts of
the whole
things.
gamut.
And so I had time to figure out what I might do, how I might do it, and go find and purchase the elements I would need.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's rewind back to how long have you known Sam Raimi and where did you guys meet?
Met him up at Michigan State. I'd heard about the Michigan State Creative Filmmaking Society, where Sam and his brother Ivan, I believe, found out that if you live on campus and you're a student, you could rent a auditorium for $30. So Sam would rent one, show movies, and usually not make his money back, but he would show his old Super 8 comedies. That's all he made.
That he directed and made.
Yeah, Three Stooges level, goofy screwball comedy things.
I didn't realize he was making films since his childhood.
Yeah, and so junior high and high school, and he used all of his friends in them. And some of them are also filmmakers, John Cameron, Josh Becker.
Incredible.
And I read about it, showed up to one of the screenings, and we hit it off. And I told them about my stuff and eventually showed them my special effects reels of stop motion. I never made an actual film with a story.
Yeah.
But I had all these little stop motion bits and spaceships and 2001-ish kind of things.
Now, the stop motion aspect is the thing I didn't know about you. I'm a child. My father was an animator. I'm curious what got you gravitating towards what I consider one of the most austere and difficult art forms.
When I was 5 years old, turned on the TV with my younger brother, Mike, and we saw the first half of King Kong, the original.
Yeah, the Willis O'Brien.
Blew me away. And in the middle of it, Dad said, "Come on, guys, we got to go to the lumberyard." So we did, and I didn't get to see how it ended. But my mom scoured the TV guide for the next year until it showed up again. Great mom, loved movies and knew this was important to me because I would not stop talking about it. Of course, Mike and I had figured out how they did it. It was a series of gymnasts standing on each other's shoulders in a giant gorilla suit, obviously.
Of course, that's exactly.
And of course, then I read Famous Monsters of Filmland and just the Bible for somebody interested in filmmaking and filmmakers back then. And found that out, how, stop motion animation and all that. And got turned on to Ray Harryhausen, of course. Yeah. And then I got my little Super 8 camera and I would duct tape it to a tray table, TV stand. Yeah. And film my little Major Matt Mason or my clay models and things like that.
Incredible.
And just kind of developed it and then got older and more sophisticated. Even did a test with a rear projected of my brother Mike on a big mound, stabbing into air, and then I projected that on my little Super 8 Bell and Howell onto a piece of glass and animated a big snaky thing, attacking him.
Like Harryhausen's skeleton fight.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's amazing. So you meet Sam Raimi in your late teens, you guys. At what point, how much later does the whole Evil Dead fracas begin?
About a year after I met him.
Okay.
And they had Sam and Rob had an apartment off campus, and they got kicked out of their apartment because they were doing sound effects at 4 a.m. And that kind of screwed their, I think the parents had kind of had it with them. And so Sam decided to throw all of their efforts into a big boat and make a feature film. And he hadn't really made a horror film at that point. There were all these screwball comedies, like 40 of them or something. Wow. And he wrote a script. He'd heard about the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, thought it was a great title for a movie. And so he wrote a script, which was top secret. And started putting everything together, and we made a short film called Within the Woods with Bruce Campbell, Ellen Sandweiss, and Scott Spiegel, who's a filmmaker and a good friend of Quentin Tarantino.
Amazing.
Tarantino slept on his couch when he moved out from Ohio for a couple months, and Scott threw a party and introduced him to his producer.
Crazy.
And yeah, it's a small world, isn't it? And then Sam decided they looked around for other effects guys.
Yeah.
And they were all expensive. And of course, I was willing to do it for next to nothing for the experience. And
This is how Rick Baker got his start, right?
and knowing that that's how it starts. You know?
Yeah.
And Sam, because of the lack of time for prep and everything, he just kind of let me go nuts. I asked him, how gory do you want this? And well, let's make it gory, yeah. And and so if I could show the knife going into the front instead of faking it and have the guy in the back, and then turn around, there's the planted knife, and he's dropped the prop he had. We'd go for that.
Yeah.
And we really didn't pay any attention to the MPAA rating at all. At one point, I decided maybe not so much blood, so I decided, well, let's have him spit out like milk and green stuff and all that, because I figured the demon possession changed your biology.
That sounds reasonable.
And I was trying to create a mythos for it, without really thinking too much about it, and it worked. It worked.
Amazing. One of the most iconic props from these movies is the Necronomicon. I love and is this the OG? Is this the original?
This is the one, yes.
From Evil Dead 1.
From Evil Dead 1.
Okay, can you walk me through the construction of this? Because I just love it so much.
I had learned in second grade, if you want to make something look like an old map or something, use grocery bag paper.
Yep.
So this was bound in grocery bag paper.
Oh, wow.
Just little bits of it. And I found some nice card, what's it called? Parchment kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I bought a bunch of that. And Sam didn't actually ask for any drawings or anything. I was always trying to bring more to the show than what was requested. Just to how can I show off? And how can I increase the production value? I mean, that's your duty, And so
this is your drawing.
These are my drawings, yes.
God,
and I tried to incorporate elements from the film and maybe things that suggest a history to all this.
A bigger narrative.
And these, of course, would be how you do the act of bodily dismemberment with these tools.
Right.
And then here's one of the.
Does it hook for pulling the brains out through the nose? Maybe?
Exactly. Yeah, something like that.
Totally.
And I glued these together with
rubber cement.
Rubber cement, and of course that just
No, I recognize the telltale signs of 50-year-old rubber cement.
And here's more of the bodily dismemberment stuff. There's a tribute to Sam Raimi. I didn't want his head cut off or anything like that. I was just trying to find a fun way to sneak him in there.
I love the illustrative style. Reminds me of the first horror comics I came across at like 8, 9 years old, where there was like a mix of both like fascination and disgust.
Oh,
I
good.
just love the line.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to. My idea was it was written by the Leonardo da Vinci of ancient Sumeria, so who he had studied anatomy and also the creatures he had managed to figure out how to conjure. So it had not only that, here's elements of like the disintegration at the end.
Oh, man.
And this is from based on a Da Vinci drawing, which is the anatomy of a back.
Yes.
Oh, no, I've got the other one here,
okay.
of that somewhere. We'll run across it.
Vitruvian Man, that's what I was thinking.
That's the Vitruvian. I keep forgetting that. I keep calling it the Malthusian. I'm not sure what a Malthusian is. And then here's the title page, which is where I started. And there's my copyright, because I own the copyright to it, upside down.
So you have always owned the copyright to your work?
Yes. I learned that from Frank Frazetta.
That's brilliant.
Don't sell the originals and own the copyrights.
Oh, look at this. Oh my God. I'm curious what sort of reference material you were, obviously, I mean, I would imagine you went to the library and got the Egyptian Book of the Dead and some other stuff like that and flipped through it?
I wish I'd thought of that. No. It was Da Vinci's notebooks.
Just Da Vinci's notebooks?
His anatomy notebooks of animals and people and the dissections he'd done.
I mean, I'm riveted and obsessed with those as well. They're so evocative.
As far as the Evil Dead things, here's the before and after of the white eyeballs.
Oh, yes. There's a Vitruvian demon.
Yes, exactly. With a triangle and a pentagon.
Oh,
so,
hail Satan. That's amazing.
Yeah, right. And you can't go wrong with a pile of skulls.
No. Oh!
And here's what happens. This could have happened to Ellen or Cheryl in the vine attack sequence if she'd hung around. And I was smoking pot at the time, so
yeah, fair.
Apparently the Dark One knew about that too.
Oh, look at this.
And there's Ash, and I think that'd be Cheryl and Linda and Shelley and Hal Delrich, Scotty.
Amazing.
And there's me. There's Tim,
oh, yes.
Tim Philo, the cameraman, and Adam, there's you. And there's you. And
oh, there's Annie Mae.
There's you.
Toto. I know this Da Vinci drawing, right, of Phases of the Moon. This also looks a little like one of Galileo's printed brochures.
Thank you. Yeah, and I wanted the idea that this guy was into astronomy of some kind. And perhaps there's that one of the this distant solar system. It's clearly not one of ours.
Beautiful.
But the idea that he was even aware of that kind of
other
thing.
solar systems.
Yes, and here's a face of the book illustration. And this is the ancient language of Bolskrit. And I would just sneak in icky things, little bats, and maybe a dragon skeleton, and a skull, and a snake.
I mean, the amount of elaboration this adds to the mix is amazing. Is that the sort of way that Sam Raimi likes to work, is bring in artists and sort of let them do what they do?
Yeah, I'd actually heard that for Spider-Man, he hired 2 storyboard artists, kept them apart, and then had them just go nuts with the sequences, and then he'd like pick and choose the best elements. And brilliant kid, huh?
Really, really brilliant.
And I had free reign. There were things like, there's that close-up when they stab Shelley with the dagger, that it pukes blood.
Yeah.
Well, I figured the night before I could just drill a little hole through its mouth, stick a tube up the back, and told Sam, hey, if you get a chance, have somebody blow blood and get a shot from underneath, and it's in the film.
And so that's a perfect segue to talk about this beautiful knife. Let's talk about this knife. I feel like I recognize some of the model kits that were used in this.
Yes.
There's a Visible Man.
From Ravel, yes.
Yeah, from Ravel.
Thank you, Ravel. I used their skull tooth for the clay animation sequence at the finale.
Amazing.
And then when I ran out of bones from that, you just used the half of the bones because you
didn't need the full bone, right? Because
so I got double the bone usage.
Of course.
Then when that was done, I went and bought a turkey or a chicken.
Oh, and you took some of those bones.
Cooked that, ate it. Boiled the bones, dried them off in the oven, and then glued them on too. And like there's the hands from the skeleton.
Yes, and that's the back of the sacrum of the Visible Man, the other toes.
Now the original Book of the Dead dagger, it was just an aluminum piece of metal that I bought at local hardware and then shaped it on my dad's grinder. But for the sequel, I wanted to do something special, and I designed, and animated the flying deadite that appears at the end of the film.
Right.
And if you look closely, it was based on like a seahorse with a tail that curls up. But it has a long, spiky cartilage bone of a blade. And the idea was, and I never even told Sam this, but it was, this blade is like the last couple inches of the blade
of
a flying deadite, and which would give it that much more psychic power.
Absolutely. It's magnificent.
Thank you. And not only that, when you stab somebody, it looks like the chest burster.
Yes, it totally. Was that on purpose?
Yes. Sam said, steal from the best, but make it your own.
Oh, that is so great. Now, we have some other amazing pieces here. These are all in this current auction.
Yes.
Some of these are sneak peeks for upcoming auctions. This is this is the weirdest stop motion puppet I have ever seen.
In the film, it's in the beginning when the book comes alive. It was written by the Dark Ones, the Necronomicon ex mortis. And the book comes alive. Yeah. Now, at one point, there was a skin I'd made from the casting of the book, the Evil Dead 2 book cover that I sculpted and then made a mold of. Right. And it was made out of, what's that elastic stuff? Rick Baker used it for the werewolf.
The foam latex, like SRAM or urethane?
No, it's a elastic. It has a memory to it.
Oh, okay.
But it stretches out, and that was covered. The problem is after a couple of years, it just turns to glob.
Absolutely, it turns to dust.
So I opened up the bag with it one day, and it was just a mess. And a friend of mine cleaned it off. But this has a stop motion armature in the back.
Unbelievable.
And these were made by Illusion Engineering, My friend Bob Meese and I,
Okay.
he came up, he's an engineer, and he came up with the idea of casting aluminum, aircraft aluminum parts. So you don't have to grind everything.
Oh.
And then these are nickel-plated balls, and we would use an anaerobic glue, industrial strength one, to glue these in. And you just have to bore a hole and then make the second plate put the screws in it.
Right.
And
This is amazing. And so you animated this for the film?
I did.
How long did that shot take?
I think about 6-7 hours, something like that.
Okay.
It doesn't last that long, but the eyes and mouth are undulating. It's got these 4 parts in it.
Oh, it must have been really fun to see the dailies of that. To see the footage after the
animating. It was very, very rewarding first take.
Good.
And then there was another book that had ball and sockets for the covers, and then aluminum wire inside each of the pages.
For the pages.
So that could flip around and fly off. And I was very happy with this. But
this is amazing.
Looks really cool.
It's a totally perfect sculpture.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then this last Necronomicon, which one is this?
This is a stunt copy from Evil Dead 2.
Okay.
There was a hero copy that was illustrated in color.
Okay.
But for the stunt copies, they'd just be thrown around. So if you ever...
This is stunt? This is amazing.
Yes, and I found out from doing this, don't put your artwork in an oven to age it. Use tea or something else.
It made it too brittle?
Too brittle, yeah. However, this is in great shape.
It is in really amazing shape.
Cover, and the covers were cast in latex.
Yeah.
But then I painted them with acrylic paints, which sealed them. So this is in really good shape.
Didn't rot.
Right.
Amazing.
This is 40 years old.
That's in insane shape for being 40 years old.
Yeah. Oh, and it looks nice and fresh. Never touched it up or anything.
No, it's incredible. You've never touched this up?
No.
That seems incredible. It is such a treat to get to talk to you about this. What these add to the films is so hard to describe. They set a place and a. Anyway, it is such an honor, sir, to meet you and talk about your beautiful work here. It is incredible.
And I admire your work too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. The auction is coming up March 26th through 29th. These items are in this current auction. These are sneak peeks for upcoming stuff later this year. Thank you guys for joining us.
And go to propstore.com to see all the other things. This is just a little taste of the astounding props that they're offering.
That's right.
Amazing.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. See you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. We have some brand new merch to tell you about because while life is full of unsolvable puzzles, we are going to sell you a solvable puzzle. We have 3 puzzle sizes now available at adamsavage.com. 120-piece, 240-piece, and this 16 by 20, 500-piece puzzle of my cave. Yes. I gotta tell you, I can't wait to actually try this out. Again, you can buy this right now at adamsavage.com.